So this is Bean for Education. So there's 4 videos along the bottom that explain how Bean for Education works, but I'm going to do a little demo for you as well. So first of all, as a teacher, you're probably interested in finding a way to navigate around the web easily and safely for students, kind of keep track of where they are, but be able to direct students and maybe even leave them messages or little notes along the way about what they are to do with each of the resources and sites that you share with them. So Bean for Education does that for you. It allows you to go in real time or to leave a trail that you want the students to follow as well. So I'm really excited about Bean for Education because it's also available in a closed kind of sheltered environment for your students in which you can create logins for a student and direct them that way. So the first thing you're going to need to do is create an account and request an account. So I'm going to go on up to the top here where it says sign up now, and I would put in that I want to sign up now as an educator. Students can sign up as a student, but we're going to start off with signing up as an educator. So you're going to fill in your information here. So I'm going to go ahead and log in on the account I already have. And this is going to be one of the main areas of Bean for Education that you're going to come to. So specifically, I've opened it up to a student research bean, and these are different beans that you're going to see along the side. And we're going to spend most of our time in the student research bean here. But for the purpose of this particular page, I'll just demonstrate. These are sites that I could page through a little bit further. They give you an idea of what this bean, which I've shown you, is all about. And I can, as I've just done, click and go out to the actual site of that particular bean and see where it goes. You'll also notice there's a couple other sites within here. There's one on science, and there's one on just cool sites in general. So that's what the mainframe page comes to. If I click on My Beans, it shows me the same 3 beans that I'm a member of. It's just more of a dashboard view. Shows me that this last bean is not one that I own or created, but one that I was invited to join. Shows when there was activity last on it, and I can actually then even reorder them so that the most recent one or the one that I want to spend more time with is at the top. So creating a new bean is real simple. I would just click here. So let's explore this student research bean itself. You'll see that there's a little dashboard up the top. I can add students or invite people that I'm already friends with to join within that bean. If I look at the members of this bean, I am the owner, and I have 2 students that I've created and invited into that bean. So down here is a little bean icon that hovers over my desktop. And you'll see those same 3 beans are appearing along here. So if I want, and I've invited a student and they've logged in, they're going to see the same thing on their computers. This little tab at the top shows me a listing of all of the sites or the stock of that bean. So this particular bean has 5 different sites that I have directed students to. Each of those sites I could reorder by just simply dragging and dropping the site order, but each of them also has a little number 1 here. When I hover over it, it means there's a note on that particular site for the students to see. So even before clicking on it, it tells me what the title of the site is. In this particular one, it's the Center at Hudson Bay in Canada from November 2011. I've added it, and I've directed the kids to watch one, I actually need to edit that, watch one of the videos and include on your report what you've learned. So when I go here, I notice as a student, wow, look, there's 4 videos. I get to watch one of those 4 and include in my report some information about that. Without leaving this site, I can go back up to the bean, find the next thing that I want to go to. And this particular one is about satellite tracking of polar bears. And the note, which we didn't read, just says, what would be the benefit of adding polar bears to adding a satellite tracking to a polar bear? You could ask kids to answer that question. So as you go along, you'll notice there's different things. This one directs me to Discovery Education. And the note indicates that kids will have to log in to get into this account, but once they do, they should go to the Polar Bears in the Arctic Circle video and to watch that and include that information in the report. So you can see I'm really directing those students out. Now, if I were directly working with students in any kind of an environment where I knew they had a computer in front of them, instead of leaving a trail for them to follow here and the breadcrumbs that they come along and they follow, I could actually go into the menu, which I find by clicking on my icon, and I could say, let's surf together this bean. So I could say, you know what, I want to start surfing with the members of the student research bean, which is the bean on the polar bears that we've just been looking at. And I want to take along with me this bean or not. Depending on whoever I click within here, I could start surfing. So now, anybody who's online with this bean is going to also be told that they've been invited into this surfing session. Now, as the director of this session, wherever I take those students, whether it's within these sites or whether I go off on my own site, they will be taken to that on their computer, and it will refresh their page with the place that I take them without them having to type in this long URL and be able to spell it correctly. In addition, if they were active at this time, we could be chatting quietly without interrupting anybody else in the classroom or wherever they happen to be. We could be chatting together about the information on the page and collecting things. In addition, this path, this surfing history, is then recorded. So if I were to go off and do something else on my own away from this particular surfing session, or if I were to pause and browse independently, I could come back to the surfing history and find out where the members of the bean have been. So I really think you're going to like Bean for education, and I think that as an educator, it's going to give you some tools that you haven't had before, and specifically I'm excited for the students that are under the age of 13 that otherwise may not have the ability to have that experience of a little bit of a social network within the parameters of a bubble where they can surf safely. So I'm excited for that, and I hope that you will consider giving Bean for education a try.